Hello and welcome to the second vlog in the Core and Teacher Diaries. I hope you all are still surviving, enjoying your week of digital school. Today's video is going to be a little bit more interactive than the last one. Obviously, the last one was just me flexing my Rubik's Cube skills, so that's not very engaging. But today, I'm going to do a few different logic puzzles. I'll kind of do them according to the camera, give you some places to pause in case you want to try to solve the puzzles before I do. So I've got three really cool tactile puzzles that I'm planning on solving today, and hopefully you will be able to race me and beat me to the solution. So we'll give it a shot, and hopefully it goes well. So I'm going to kind of set this up here on my little pseudo camera rig. The first of these puzzles I want to try is what's called the Cat Stacks puzzle. So you can find this on Amazon for really cheap. There's a bunch of different puzzles, and essentially what it does is it gives you a grid that you have to fill with a certain set of cats. And so your goal is to try to find a way to fit them all on there. So we'll crack this sucker open and see how it goes. I did see this puzzle. I can't remember where I was, but I was at some educational place, and they had this Cat Stacks puzzles, and I forgot about them for a while, and then I was looking online recently and came across it again and figured in the midst of all the craziness, it might be worth doing. There's all our little cats, so that's exciting. And now we're going to crack open these different cards here. So there's like a whole deck of cards that you can use, and obviously the solutions can get kind of crazy with some of these. So well, hopefully things aren't too insane, but we'll see. I think the later puzzles actually have you stacking them in 3D, which is pretty wild. Oh, give me a second to find a knife. Here we go. Okay, so we'll start with one of the beginner puzzles. Not beginner number one. Number one is almost like, not worth it. But let's do, we'll do beginner 3, because, or 4. Yeah, 3 looks fine. So 3 tells us what cats we need to get. So we're going to get our little black cat. We get the, looks like that's the wrong cat. Oh, yeah, we've got our purple cat. We've got our little cat here, a little cat there. Let's see, what else do we need? Looks like we need this white cat. It's white cat, black cat, blue cat, dark blue cat, pink cat. This cat is not green, but I'm assuming that's meant to be that cat. And then this cat right here. Okay, so, again, for those of you who might try to race me to the solution, these are the cat pieces that you're going to try to fit in here onto this grid. So, like jigsaw puzzles, it might be handy to kind of work from the outside. So that's my thought. Might try to put a cat there. I've got this this square cat, which if we put it face down, seems to fit fairly okay. It looks like this cat is great to go over here in that space. Uh-oh. And things I think are going to get bad pretty fast, because while I have a spot for that cat, oh, maybe not. Maybe I can put that cat in the middle. Okay. And then, if these cats aren't too big, yeah, there we go. So again, this was a beginner level cat stack. Not too bad. All one layer, so nothing too funky to think about, but a pretty handy puzzle nonetheless. So let's see a more challenging one so we can see kind of where this system goes. We'll go into the, I don't think I want to go into the expert category. We'll go into the, we'll do another one-layer puzzle, but we'll do this one-layer puzzle, which has a lot more going on. So we're going to need this long, lanky cat, this purple cat. Looks like we need this blue cat still, this yellow cat, the white cat, the weird colored cat, the black cat, and the little blue cat. Okay, so there's our 8 cats that we're going to try to fit on here. And again, you might start kind of mentally puzzling out. I kind of like, I thought I liked the way that cat fit, but now I'm not so sure. That's probably an okay fit, or I guess we can do the mirror of it over here. And again, I kind of like working out to in. Sometimes I find that helpful. Now we're going to start to get some funky areas. So we probably, this cat's got that like hole between its head and its tail. So that seems pretty handy. We could put this cat like right here. Now things are going to get really hard. This cat is massive. So I think I need to start back over and figure out where in the world I can put this cat. I guess, that's not a bad spot. It's maybe a little bit further over. I'm not sure. If I do something like that, I could put the little baby cat down here, which seems good. Because it seems like otherwise it'd be really hard to fit something near that cat. And then, let's see. So now we still have a lot of space to utilize. It doesn't look like we want to create any more small spaces like that. So maybe what we do is something like this. Fill that spot in with a cat. It looks like this one could fit pretty nicely. This cat could then fit pretty nicely in that gap. Excuse me. And then this cat, he can stick his little head in there. Oh no, I'm going to be so close, aren't I? So this is a little more challenging to work with because I really need to figure out where this big cat goes. This guy is kind of the problem. What if he goes like that? Stick his head down there. This is looking promising. Oh, but it's not quite. It's not quite there. Wow. All right. Well, let's rearrange a little bit. This pink cat fits so nicely there. I wonder if that will be helpful. And then you know what? Moving that around lets me fit a white cat here and that blue cat there. Hooray! So there's our little cat stack puzzle. And again, this is the intermediate level. It does get pretty advanced, which is cool. And in fact, some of these, even in the like early examples, will give you cats that you actually have to stack 2 layers. And so some of your cats will literally lay down, but others might actually stand up and their heads like poke through little gaps and stuff. So it's a really cool puzzle for those of you that are maybe looking for something to entertain yourself. And for 10 bucks, honestly, this can keep you hooked for a while. So that's Cat Stack, excuse me. A really handy little puzzle, stores away really nicely in this little box. And again, they have this in here to help you, so that way you're able to easily pack away all your cats without too much worry. So let me take a moment to get all these cats back in their spots. And then we'll move on to our next one, which is actually going to be really cool. So, yeah. Ta-da! There is Cat Stack, all nice and stored away. The next logic puzzle we'll look to do is one that is called, oh man, I don't even remember what this one's called. It's been a long time. I got this when I was a kid. Lunar Lockout, apparently. So the thing about Lunar Lockout that's cool, well, unfortunately, it looks like I've lost one of my robots, but the cool thing about it is it's a logical sliding puzzle. So let's see, I'll pick us one that will give us a little bit of that feel. Let's see, of kind of the early process. So here, this would be a great one. We'll do number 6. So what lunar lockout is all about is you are trying to get your little space astronaut person to land on this destination. And you say, well, that's easy. You just move it down this way. The key with lunar lockout, though, is that your pieces, when you move them, only stop when they run into other pieces. So you'll see this puzzle sets up something like this. And the only way that you are allowed to stop is if you run into a piece, okay? And so the challenge of this is, again, your pieces, as you think through this solution process, when you move a piece, even another barrier, it will fly off the board if there is no backstop for it as well. So for example, you might think about this one for a second. How in the world can you manipulate these pieces so that there's an area, a way to stop this guy on here? Okay. And the first thing people probably do with these puzzles is they start moving this goal. So they might move it over to here where it hits the orange robot and stops. Then they move it down and it hits the purple. Then they move it over and it hits the green. But you'll notice there's a problem now, which is none of my robots now can move. The purple flies off the board no matter where it goes, and so on and so forth. So what's the solution here? Well, we need to move where our little barriers are. So we might move the orange over to hit this red, and then the orange down to hit this purple. Then I can move the green over, and now when I move my red, it lands on its destination. So there's a very straightforward lunar lookout puzzle. Let's see if we can do one that's a little bit more complicated. So we'll go up into the early advanced categories, see if we can find a good one to work with. So we'll have this purple bot. This is us. This is what this looks like, by the way. I'm gonna have to substitute one of these colors since I've lost the yellow bot, so that will be our blue robot. But now here we go. And again, we want to try to get this guy to stop on this space here. So we've got a little bit of puzzling to figure out. So I'm going to kind of start thinking through. So again, in my head, again, you can think through on your own too, but in my head, I'm thinking that there's got to be some way to move some of these little barriers around. So again, moving my guy over or up may not be as helpful, but let's see. We could move this guy up so he's kind of in line with this. So I'm going to try to see if I can get some things on the back line here. And again, this might fail and I might start over. Let's see. So we could then, let's see, we're going to want to move this green guy over because I think we're going to need to use him again in the future. So we'll move him over here. Then we've got to try to figure out where we're going next. Well, again, I see this purple robot is almost in the right place to create a little backstop over here for the green robot. Well, the only way I could do that is if I move the orange robot down. And now that purple robot can stop here, the green robot can stop here, and the red, us, can land on the destination. So again, there's another type of logic puzzle, lunar lookout. I don't know if this one's still easy to find, but it's a really cool logical sliding puzzle. Another one that, here, let me grab it real fast, that is similar to this that you might like. The other one that's similar is called Rush Hour. So I don't know if you've seen this before, but it's called Rush Hour. And Rush Hour is a phenomenal game as well. It's also a sliding puzzle. So if you think that these sliding puzzles might be something fun to do with your time, you might look into one of those. Again, like I said, I don't know if this lunar game is still easy to find, but it is a cool little logic puzzle. So if it's still available, don't worry, I caught my iPad. But if it's still available, it might be worth your time to hunt down. Okay, so our last one, though, that I want to talk about, so there's that one, Cat Stack and Lunar Lockout. The other one that some people enjoy, myself included, this is one of my favorite logic puzzles, by a company called Think Fun. Let me grab my makeshift iPad stand, reconstruct that. Okay, this one is called tip over. So tip over is a really cool logic puzzle that's very spatial and very 3D. Because essentially what happens is you set up some sort of challenge course. So again, we'll start with a beginner. So here's the card that I'm using. So it tells me where I put these pillars. So I set these pillars up according to the diagram. And I put my red destination block, which is where I'm trying to get, as well as I drop this one. And you'll notice on this card there's a little red arrow. That means that's where we start. So we start over here. And the key with tip over is that you are trying to get yourself to this red block down here. But you're not allowed to jump over gaps. In fact, the only way that you can move is you are allowed to tip over and land on any set of blocks that you tip over. So again, you'll notice on this puzzle, our only first move was to tip over to the left. We cannot tip upwards because tipping upwards does not give us clearance to land flat. So we have to be able to land the blocks flat. So we tip it over here. Now we're over here. We can climb up anything that's touching us, so we can climb up that. And again, we might think about our next process. Well, we might think, well, let's move this yellow block. But you'll notice if we tip that over, we're going to be stranded. We can't get off. Whoops. Either way. We can't go backwards or forwards, and we will actually have locked ourselves out of the puzzle. So the yellow block isn't the goal, but the yellow block's in the way. Otherwise, we could just tip this blue one up. So what do? Well, that means we tip the yellow one over, so it's out of the way. We climb back up. We tip over the blue one, and we walk up here. And now we figure out what we're going to do next, because the challenge is, again, we want to try to get to this red box. Well, I can't tip this over this way, and it's in the way of my other one, so I might as well tip it over down like this, walk back up. Now I can tip this one over, and not karate kick our other platform, and then we can tip this one over, and now we make it to our box, which is the goal. Cool, so that's tip over. You'll notice this can get a lot more involved really fast. So that was just the level 3 beginner puzzle. But this can get really developed out. So let's look at like the level 21, which is when we start getting to the advanced puzzles. So level 21, something like this, like those. Here's our goal. Here's a green. Here's a yellow. So the yellows are always size 2, greens are always size 3, and blues are size 4. So that's the nice thing about the color coordination that happens here. We've got a green here and a yellow here. Okay, and we start here. And again, our goal is to figure out how we're going to land on this red box. Now, personally, when I'm in a more challenging tip-over puzzle like this, I might think about how I could get there, like kind of thinking backwards. So I noticed that if this 3, this will never be able to go down. So it's definitely not going to be this going down. This 2, if it goes down, is only going to get me to here, which again, I can't move diagonally onto things. So that yellow one is not the goal either, which means it's this blue one that needs to go down. So this blue one I need to try to get down. Well, that means both of these are going to have to get out of the way. Okay, so let's think through this process. How can we go about this? Well, I'm going to probably at some point need to travel up here. So let's see. Let's start out that way, and we can always reset if we make a mistake. So we're going to kick down and tip over here. Then we're going to come up here. Now we need to figure out where we're going to go next. Well, we definitely can't tip the green one down, unfortunately, because that's not going to let us get anywhere. So we will tip this yellow one down here and climb up onto here. Now what? Let's see. Now we can tip this yellow one over so that we can get to the green, so we can get over here, which is really handy because this is where this blue is that we want to deal with. Well, let's see. We look here. Ooh, it looks like this green, we need to get it out of the way, but that yellow's in the way. So can we get over there and deal with that yellow? Well, let's see. Let's go all the way back around, and we'll tip the yellow out of the way. Then we'll come back. Now we can safely tip our green. Come back, safely tip our yellow, come back, and then we can tip our blue, which allows us to get on our goal. So again, tip over is a really cool logic puzzle. It's very three-dimensional, very spatial, which of course is something that's handy to practice that will help you not only with your math reasoning, but your geometry reasoning. So these are just some puzzles that you can consider if you're looking for something interesting to do. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you are enjoying surviving being stuck inside. So again, hopefully you can find something to do. Thanks so much. Until next time.